Well, Bob, another Big Ten taffy poll, a standard issue, and I think in a game like this, it really comes down to who really wants to play the most, more, and I don't think you can doubt that Maryland, this game meant a little more to Maryland than it did to Penn State, and maybe just 1 point more, but it's enough.
I don't know why you would say that, just because they were 135-1 all time. Right. They'd never won here in 21 tries, but you could tell by the way they came out, not shaking hands at the coin toss.
Yeah. It's a big deal to them.
It was a much bigger deal to them, and they found a way to win the game. They found a way to solve the riddle, at least a little bit of the Penn State defense, and they got some help for Penn State special teams as well.
A lot on the last possession especially, and you called it really when James Franklin and John Donovan elected not to throw on third down, 3rd and 6, deep in their own territory, with all these punting woes, you kind of identified that as a bad decision.
Yeah, they got a good return. I think they returned it into Penn State territory, so you're really talking about they were one play away from a field goal attempt, and the guy barely made it, but he made it.
And Penn State was 1 first down away from maybe icing the game.
Yeah, well,
Maryland had 1 timeout left.
James is talking about the need to be able to run the 4-minute offense at the end of the game. Well, if you can't run the ball, you really can't run the 4-minute offense. You might as well let Hackenberg at least take 1 shot.
I don't know how you scheme around this offensive line. It's bad.
You cannot do it.
I don't know how many times. What is it, 33 sacks now for Hackenberg?
Did
you count it up?
He came in with 25 sacks. They got
31 or something.
Yeah, they're at 31 sacks. And so he's taken another. He took a couple of kill shots that weren't even sacks. One at the end of the game. I don't know how the guy's even walking. I really don't. I mean, he needs to play better, but I would imagine it's tough going into a game knowing you're going to get the living tar kicked out of you, 12 times a game trying to play well.
Randy Edsall said, "Let the rivalry begin" in the post game, and then he said it again in the post game, and he actually credited. He said this was almost a continuation of Maryland's win in the Big 33 game. I mean, he's going into recruiting there. Obviously,
he's reaching.
Yeah, and he thinks 1 win. Now, people might disagree, but he thinks this 1 win can make a big difference in recruiting. Of course, he's playing it up. But what do you think?
I don't think
You think it takes 2 or 3 or 4 simply because of branding and who Penn State is and who Maryland?
I think most recruits realize Penn State's limitations, and they also know what Maryland's limitations are. And so I think if you're a recruit, you have to ask yourself, do you think things are going to get better at Penn State?
Yeah, you have to take into account what an aberration this season could be. Yeah. With the offensive line really being the most part of the exacerbation of the sanctions. Yeah. And boy, they're out of answers.
No Donovan Smith. They scored 4 offensive touchdowns now in 4 Big Ten games total. That's almost impossible to do. This was a 3-and-out fest like I've never seen.
Maryland won this game with under 200 yards of total offense, and on third down, 1 of 14. I mean, on the road.
Yeah.
You don't see that.
Yeah. I would also imagine it's tough for the Penn State special teams players and the offensive players to look the defensive players in the eye. Given the way that this defense is playing, they're just wasting great efforts. Just wasting them.
And now, how do you feel about Bloomington in November? It's lovely that time of year. You've been there. You remember the Shining Hotel? That was November.
What was 4-0 is now 0-4, and you could ask legitimately, are they going to win another game this year?
Yeah, this might have been the Pinstripe Bowl down the drain. Anyway, we'll see you next week from lovely Bloomington, the heart of Southwest Indiana, and maybe we'll see John Mellencamp again. Remember that? Until then, from Beaver Stadium, sayonara.